Kobbie Mainoo, the young star playing for Manchester United, has just signed a beautiful 5-year deal that gives him £150,000 every week. That's a lot of money when you have to convert it to Naira, but please don't convert it to Naira unless you have migraine. Yes, my guys are laughing in here. $150,000 is a lot of money for a guy that is barely 20. And don't let me say anything concerning that. Well, we are going to be looking at the peculiarity of the deals, the things that have to concern that deal. Kobbie Mainoo as a player, is he worth £150,000 per week? And looking at the duration of the contract, 5 years contract until 2031, a renewal of his contract, has he done enough to get that contract? With me in the studio today is Mide and Elizabeth. We are going to be looking at everything. We dissect and look at it. If Kobbie Mainoo is going to come out good, or is going to be a gamble in the wrong direction. Mide, welcome. How are you doing?
Let's do it.
Elizabeth.
I beg, before we go do may they just give me that 50 way they on top.
They 50 way.
May they just give me, just put that
a lot of money.
Honestly.
I want to imagine £150,000.
Just that 50 alone.
But you guys are not looking at the elephant in the room.
Which elephant?
The tax.
Okay. Come on, tax. Give me the remaining one.
50 first. I go buy my state. Buy King. Join everything.
The tax will be past 50%. Oh yeah, give me £75,000.
You don't even reach.
Should we calculate £75,000 in there now?
Let's not do that. Let's go straight.
Should we put this in a calculator?
Let's
your calculator go write error. You go write error. You not go show and finish.
All right.
Okay, quickly. Let's look at Kobbie Mainoo. It's going to be an interesting one. And the first thing we are looking at is the fact that as United, yes, Kobbie Mainoo, has it justified United's faith in him, giving him 5 years, giving him 5 years contract on £150,000 per week?
Well, what can we say? When you want to look at the performance level, the potential level, and the market value, he has.
How much is Kobbie Mainoo worth
right now?
Right now, I think before, because if we have to talk about Kobbie Mainoo, we have to look at him before the disaster that happened, and that was Ruben Amorim. If not for him, he'll be having
probably
a shot.
His values will have actually gone up.
So,
and I've seen a better performance from him recently.
Yes,
the thing is, the Amorim happened because he was unable to, play him the way into his system. The system doesn't allow for a player like.
So sometimes because player not good.
Because exactly the
not even using per se.
No,
he just also
suit his style. So that was why he was benched.
So let's go back to that discussion of if he's worth that 5-year contract.
Yes, composure. When you look at the tactical brilliance and the IQ of the player, like I always say, the performance level it's been good. He broke out under Erik ten Hag, and since then he has been going. I was thinking it will be the next player that would be a mainstay in that middle, where that will give Manchester United that platform to take the ball from back to front. That link between defense and attack. Do you get me? So Kobbie Mainoo has actually given us performances over, and for somebody of his age, you look at this age and you are performing like this, then what are you going to be like when you're in your prime years? So that is what I said, potential. Based on potential too, he has the ceiling is very high, and they'll be looking at if this guy is probably with a team like Everton, and let's look at Elliot Henderson now. He's been quoted around 100 million. Mm-hmm. So if you have Kobbie Mainoo as say Everton or say Leeds United, there are Stromeniga and man that will be quoted. So for me, ultimately, I believe he has everything. It ticks every box when it comes to justifying that 150k, because not a lot of midfielders in his position are better than him in Premier League as it is, because that guy, not a lot. I mean, I'm not saying there's none, not a lot. The gap between him and the rest, the good ones, is that close. So for me, if somebody like a 30-year-old Casemiro is earning that much, I think 150k is a peanut for somebody that has resale value. So at the club. So
Elizabeth, do you agree with Mide? Is that contract a perfect justification of the value of Kobbie Mainoo? 150k per week, 5-year contract.
Well, it's a good one, but I just have some, some conditions to note out. First of all, Kobbie Mainoo, when he broke out under
Ten
Eric
Hag.
Ten Hag, he has been partnering with Casemiro, and then
Bruno
Fernandez
front, yeah.
in front. So I think the combination of those two guys with him is what is helping him play well. So my concern is just that who are you getting to replace Casemiro will determine how he's going to perform come next season. If you are looking at because it is the shield of that of an experienced Casemiro that has been helping him to express himself more. But are you bringing an experienced man like that come next season? I'm not saying it has not been justified to get that money, the 150k, the Jaggers and all of that, whether we like it or not. Even economy, not be only Nigeria rise for player market save. Economy don't rise, so it's worth it. But the quality of play, yes. And also when you're looking at players, sometimes look at players that can play in different positions. That is what some coaches like a Pep, Arsenal, Arteta rather, what they look out for.
People like
now,
what's this coach at Luis Enrique appears here.
Just to mention a few, they look out for players like that. Now, in a formation under Amorim, he could not play. I'm not saying is a disadvantage, but you have to have players that can, when a new manager comes in,
flexible. You can fit in into any style.
You can fit in everywhere. So it's something that is a worry for me because Carrick might not be here next season. They might bring another coach, and how would he be able to play under that manager? Hope we're not going to be having the same issues we experienced under Amorim. I'm not saying it's not justified to get that contract. He has delivered on big stages. He played in the Euros with England. I'm not saying he's not a man of quality or potential. Yes, he is. But looking at these conditions for me, I just want to be a bit skeptical about it.
Ide, one good season, 5-year deal. Is it a smart business or a risky gamble by United? Because if it does not come off well, it means that they are stuck with a player for 5 years.
I mean,
Definitely might not get another club to sign him.
I believe clubs, they pay for a potential. It's not just about their current output. It is what they become. And if, like I said earlier, if you are this good at this point, then what are you expected to become? They do, in a way, 150k. By the time he's 25, 26, when he's about to enter his prime. When he's about to enter his prime years, then players of that quality, they won't get him less than 100 million. Now, should he continue like this, it will improve more and more. And in doing so, they have at least removed, because they are looking at replacing Casemiro now, and it will cost them. Now, imagine them not having somebody imagine them not having to go for Elliot Anderson. Let's say there's no Kobbie Mainoo. They can afford not to, go with a bidding war for Anderson, because they'd be like, okay, at least we have somebody similar to what he's giving. Do we have somebody? It saves them millions of pounds. So that is one area, and why, if you look at it in hindsight, probably by that time, when he actually attains that his full potential, we'll be looking at that decision and be like, that was actually a good one. Because if you had not kept the guy, and probably he goes on to into another team and he blew, and this is what we're having, how do you have to get him back? You have to spend a whole lot of money.
Continue.
We have seen that with Pogba. Manchester United. So that Pogba will be playing in their mind that
you have to buy him for, I think, I don't know,
89 million pounds. Yes, that was world record at that time. So that has to tell you that they learned from the mistake. And it was one of the reasons why United hierarchy, they actually were reluctant. Even when Amorim, when he was not looking like, and he was looking for a way out, probably go on loan, they were reluctant to let him go, because they believe one day Amorim will not be there forever and it will come good. So, saving up, 150k in the grand scheme of things, when he attains his full potential, will be peanuts to what they would have to pay. Should they go and blow somewhere else?
Looking at the fact that he's an homegrown talent, it actually gives them
a lot of pros to Kobbie Mainoo for them.
Elizabeth, do you agree, before I say what I want to say, do you agree with the fact that it's a good one for Manchester United? They're just taking a gamble on Kobbie Mainoo?
Well, right now, everything at risk. For me, in my opinion, based on what I've seen of him of late, in the last under Amorim, under Eric Ten Hag, and under Carrick, I think it's still a gamble. You can't say fully what the results will be. It's just a risk. You look at Kobbie Mainoo, you look at, like I keep saying, that shield of Casemiro he no go dey next season.
At 21, you're not guaranteed anything.
I'm not. Do you get? And we've seen Chelsea go that route of buying young players, and then right now it's not he's not giving them that results, that expectation. He's not even meeting that expectation for Chelsea. I am not saying it's a bad one, whether we like it or not. It's an homegrown. It's from the academy. It's a good one. But looking at it from another aspect, I'm still a bit skeptical. I will still remain on my stand.
Well, I think what Mide is actually saying as per concerning Kobbie Mainoo is the fact that we've seen clubs a lot of time lose young talents that they have come to
through the ranks
to actually bite themselves, because you look at a player like Michael Olise. Michael Olise was formerly a Chelsea player.
It was now
He was in Chelsea's academy
for more than 6
for
years.
7 years. Declan Rice was actually a former
Chelsea
player. These are players playing
Even
in
Eze.
top teams now. Eze played for Chelsea too. We've seen Kevin De
For
Bruyne.
Arsenal,
We saw Eze.
Even though he was not a part of our youth team,
Yes,
De Bruyne was not part of our youth team,
Eze-
but we bought him
was
very
bought,
young
Was sold out. There's Mohamed Salah.
just
Those
a
guys
lot.
are actually let go at a
To
very,
become
very young-
legend.
To become legend. So I think
So-
Manchester United will be looking at the fact that 150,000 in the grand scheme of things might be something enough to actually part way with. If it doesn't work, at least they can still get something to sell him for.
Even
All
if he's
across.
not, he's not
Sorry,
firing.
and I'm still looking at the fact that since he's a homegrown talent, any amount they sell him for will still
Go
come out
as
as
profit.
a profit. It's
As-
pure
as-
profit.
as a
Pure
profit.
profit. So
But
that's
quickly, let's look at this and we'll round up. Concerning Kobbie Mainoo, since he has gotten a 5-year contract, and this is what he wanted. I know that sometimes players, they like to, when they want a new contract, they like to put in their all, they show themselves. We've seen a lot of that happen a lot of times. There are concerns about Mohamed Salah that when he wanted to get that contract last year, he put in the season of his life. You understand? Yeah, it's one of the best seasons of his life. He got that contract and nowhere to be found. We've seen players do it over and over again. Alexis Sanchez at Arsenal, Mesut Ozil at Arsenal, they get bumper contract and that is the end. For Kobbie Mainoo, 150k puts him on big expectations. Can
Of
he
course.
meet up with the expectations? What does he need to do next season? Mide?
well, the expectation is it will be high, definitely. For if you are anyone,
And it's no longer a teenager.
Yeah, so
He's
He's
not
now
long-
21.
he's no
He's
longer
not
a
a man.
teenager. He's no longer a teenager, and the expectation will be from a promising talent. Now,
He's no longer a promising talent again.
no. From promising talent now, the expectation is you have to turn into an elite midfielder in the Premier League.
Very
Now,
good.
most importantly, consistency. It needs it badly.
I agree.
We have
Consistency.
been talking about Anderson this season. It's because of his consistency.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He has been there.
And there's a particular Adam Watson too.
Adam Watson too. So
Exactly.
Who will compete for him for that English
they
position?
have exactly. And look at Adam Watson. Look at Elliot Anderson.
There's James
There's-
Garner
there's
James
at
Garner.
Everton.
And there's a steady, progress in their
Consistency.
the
their
consistency
play.
in their progress. So that is one thing that it needs to work on. And then again, the durability. Durability is how do you cope with the physical demands of the Premier League. That is very, very important. And then another thing is in that team now, if you want to be an elite, like Elliot Anderson is for Nottingham Forest, he has been a leader. He has been the one setting the pace.
Definitely.
So if you want to become a mainstay in that, especially in that Manchester United midfield, you need to be able to control things and be able to bring in that your talents, everything, and maintain your consistency by leading the team, because it's from the midfield that most games in Premier League are won and lost. So that is one of the reasons why he has to become that leader. And then in big games he has to be decisive. You have to come up at the moment when that is where in the end of the season yesterday the reckless challenge yesterday was a talking point, but for it not maybe if he had not made that tackle, maybe Aston Villa would have scored from that one.
Yeah.
And look at
You have to take that risk.
you have to look at Morgan Gibbs White. Yeah, these are players that always come up when the
team
tough
needs
is
them.
going
I
tough.
agree, I
So
agree.
those are things.
Against Liverpool,
I
Adam
think-
Watson was a beautiful player. It was very, very beautiful.
So this is one. Those are the things that you need to look at, especially for me. Those, if you can actually manage that, then I think we are.
Elizabeth, what do you think
an elite.
Kobbie Mainoo has to do better next season to justify this 150,000 people? Because no be small money. If I begin to tell you the amount of things 150,000 pounds can buy.
I don't dey calculate like that.
Why you dey calculate
The money
person
no be my
money?
money. I dey calculate. Wetin that money go do for my
I've been
life?
bringing some beautiful bags to the office recently or to the studio, and I want to believe that she will be
No,
looking
na
at
Naija
getting
breaking.
she will be looking at getting more beautiful bags, and
No, I go first go buy my state. Comot the governor. Man, no mention am. Come on, the
2,000
governor.
pounds.
Come on,
Okay.
the king. Put
Yeah.
my people for there.
Yes, okay.
I think for Kobbie Mainoo, I think like Mide mentioned, a lot of things are just to buttress one or two things. That consistency must be there, and don't forget that Manchester United, they are going to Champions League next season. That's how they've
Definitely.
been playing. Now it needs to turn up in big games. Your mates are there. The young boys are in the Champions League and they are doing wonders. Now Lamine Yamal, they Baka, where they back.
When they carry
Barcelona,
the
the
whole team. I think
whole
he has carried
Barcelona.
Barcelona over the line already.
There is an
Injury or
Olise.
not, they look like they are going to win the Premier
They
League.
know.
Of La Liga.
There's not like they look. They are already
Automatically,
champions.
they
There
are
is
the champions
91% confirmed.
of La Liga. There is an Olise somewhere
they-
too.
they no be
delivering.
wanting.
Don't even forget, they are going to find there is a Musiala somewhere too in that Bayern Munich team. So there are
And
a
he also
lot.
plays in midfield.
Yeah. So whether we like it or not, it's not even because Miles Kelly is not getting enough minutes. Last season, it was delivering. That guy where they deliver. So I think Kobbie Mainoo needs to have that at the back of his mind that he's going to the Champions League next season. It is more different from the way Premier League plays. In the Champions League, they want to play football, not the physicality of the Premier League and all of that. So it needs to be aware of all those things, and it needs to be able to to show that workings, because he's going to be partnering with another person in the midfield come next season. How are you going to adapt to that new person? And also, whether we like it or not, right now, midfielders are now adding goals to their games. And that's another point.
I agree.
Midfield, so he needs to add that to his goal. I'm not saying score all the time, but at least when push
Pushing one or
comes
two
come to
goals.
shows, 1 or 2, just give one. He get time for game, no doubt. Under Eric Ten Hag, we dey see him, but can he do more of that come next season? So that is my own take.
But I think this is a beautiful, beautiful one. For Kobbie Mainoo, the ball is in his court right now. I think for the Manchester United hierarchy to actually decide to give him a 5-year contract, that's a lot. It could have actually been given 3 years, 4 years, but 5
For a
years
stringent
contract.
board.
Yes, for a stringent board, yes. Ineos recently have been cutting a lot of things. And for them to give you a 5-year contract shows that they have faith,
In
big
him.
faith in him.
Exactly.
For me, what I would just like to add is the fact that Kobbie Mainoo should look at a lot of midfielders, young midfielders who have made a craft for themselves, even when not playing for big clubs. Kevin De Bruyne comes to mind. He was the highest goal scorer in the German Bundesliga,
Yes.
playing for Wolfsburg.
It was the player of the season.
He won the DFB Pokal playing for Wolfsburg.
Wolfsburg, yeah.
We have seen players. Michael Olise that we are seeing in Bayern Munich now actually came
From Crystal Palace.
Yeah. Yes, and so we've seen players, young players, do big things, being decisive.
Yeah.
Understand? While playing. And Kobbie Mainoo, if he wants to be reckoned with among Manchester United, have a lot of legends.
Yeah.
So if he wants not to be one of those players that played for Manchester United, but wants to be regarded as a very, very Paul Pogba that you mentioned, £89 million. There was a reason why Manchester United had to splash £89 million on him.
On
It was
him
because
again.
of what he was doing with Juventus. Well, that's our package. Viewers, you have your own say. What do you think about Kobbie Mainoo's deal? Was it worth it? Should they have been given £150,000 per week, which is more than a lot of people's annual salary combined together? Yes, that's our package for you today on Skull City, where passion meets purpose. My name is Adi Damola. Elizabeth and Mide, thanks for coming as usual. You made this interesting and fun. I think I had a little bit of laugh. Yes, Kobbie Mainoo.
All right.
An interesting one. Please remember to follow us on all our social media handles at Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and X. Subscribe on our YouTube channel. See you next time.